Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, look, we back again in the basement. And man, like I said, I'm excited because I've been bringing y'all some dope interviews. And today, my guest, man, y'all probably looking like, man, look who he got down there. And y'all are absolutely correct. But before I get ahead of myself, if y'all do not know whom I am, my name is Daniel T. I'm a certified personal trainer who does dope interviews on people making it happen. And my guest today is very honest, honorable, and a very humble young man. And when I met him, I said, oh yeah, I like this guy. I really like this guy. So, Dre Love, welcome to the basement, young brother.
Man, thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it, man. We got Dre Love live on the check-in, man.
What you think?
Man, I like this setup, man. Real nice, man. Real professional. You know, I could tell you serious about your craft, man, and what you do, so.
Very.
I appreciate it. It's my first time doing this, man.
Thank you for letting me interview you first.
Man, I appreciate it, man. It's legendary, man.
We gonna do this. Very legendary.
Yeah.
So, Dre, the first question that I ask everybody out the gate, who is Dre Love?
Man, humble, transparent, honest, respectable. Man, it's just pretty straightforward. Just tell it how it is, man. Grew up in a two-parent household, 4 sisters. I'm the only boy, I'm the baby.
Really?
Yeah. So, I come from, my dad's 63, my mom's 62, so I come from that old school background, that GM day. My dad worked at General Motors, retired from General Motors 30 years, man, so I come from that work environment, man, where you had to really get it in, man, had to work for what you got, you know, so.
That showed good work ethic, though.
Yeah.
You saw it firsthand with your dad, though.
Yeah.
Hey, man, you blessed. You said you come from a two-parent household. I come from the same thing. And Karan Ward just talked about a two-parent household. You get a better head start in life sometimes. I'm not going against the grain of the single parents, but sometimes when you actually have a two-parent household, man, you get a child a better start in life.
I wholeheartedly believe that, man. It just really open up your perspective, just from a love perspective, man. It just help you. It'll guide you. You got your mom there, you got your dad there. Me and my son's mom is not together, so I can feel the difference and I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if he separate, he with me for 2 or 3 days, then he go back with her for 3 days. It's like a reboot. Like it's a different environment every 3 days, so it's hard for him to just
different rules too, though.
Yeah,
you got her rules, you got your rules, and then it's like sometimes the kid can play the mama against the daddy.
Yeah, and lie about it just to get his way. So and he know he can manipulate a parent to get what he want. So, and man, to be honest with you,
you only got one.
Yeah.
You want some more?
That's all I can handle right
now,
man. Especially with this stage in my career, I wouldn't take on more than what I can handle, man. Just from a responsibility perspective, I wouldn't. That's just, I feel like it's selfish, you know, to have more kids knowing I won't have the time or availability to be the father that I need to be. So
yeah, you gotta find that balance in life, because you busy. And man, I really did take a liking to you. Because I had you didn't even know what I did. And it was like, we got to talking. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, this guy dope. And everybody that talked about you was like, yeah, T, you a little late, but I ain't never late because look, hey, look, he down here now, y'all. So we ain't never too late.
When you called me, you said, man, you know how to do this, man. You sure? I said, man.
I have been burnt.
I'm like, man, you ain't never heard of Dre Love? I'm like, man, T, you might have to Google me. Call me back, man, once
I have been burnt. Man, look, people come over here, bro, and it's like they calculating your money. It's like, man, what can I get out of him? And it's like, I don't like that. And everybody don't do what they say at all. It's like, say what you do and do what you say, and everybody don't follow that. So when you came down here, I was blown away. And I'm like, he didn't come down here smelling like weed. He didn't come down here lollygagging. You didn't have a whole crew with you doing a whole bunch of nothing. And I'm like, I don't know this young guy, but yeah, he gonna get to know me real quick.
Man, and I could just tell because I know George, he was telling me that he was training with, but I didn't know it was you.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, my trainer, man.
I'm not a boastful person.
Yeah. I'm like, man, I never heard of him, man. Then when you was telling me, I'm like, oh, man, you got a good thing going on, man. So,
yeah, I'm not a boastful person. I don't brag. I just do what I do. Like you said, you came down here. I didn't mention nothing of what I did.
Yeah.
All I was concerned about was, can he do this job? And then after that, now we can really talk.
Yeah. Wow, man.
Yeah. Wow, Dre. Okay. When you're not working, what do you do to relax? Because I'm big on mental.
Man, to be honest with you,
I need you to be honest with me.
This new career, this new path, these last 6 years that I've been on, man, just tied into my field. This is really, I really don't get a lot of time to myself that I wish I could get. I work 7 days a week. Days is just unpredictable. Some days you work 12 hours, some days it's 16 hours. It just depends on the demand and where you at. So when I do get a little downtime, it's like I have to force it into my schedule. So, I definitely like to travel, and I travel just to try new food. Because I'm vegan. I've been vegan for about...
Are you?
Yeah, I've been vegan for about 10 years.
Wow.
So yeah, I've been on it early, man. I had watched the documentary, What the Health.
What the Health on Netflix. I changed everything.
And I shut the whole refrigerator down, threw everything out that same day, man.
And you've been vegan ever since.
Man, started it over, man. My whole journey and just relearning how to eat, man. Just really learning how to cook, and not that it was just. I just wanted to be. I always been a healthy eater. I always ate clean. I always shopped at Whole Foods, organic chicken, organic everything. Exactly. I was always like that. So when I seen that, it was just easy to turn it off, man. I'm done with meat, man. So. And then you start doing your real research behind it and what it do and how it affects your body, and that's where a lot of the cancers come from. And a lot of my family recently been dying from just certain diseases, pancreatic cancer, breast cancer. It start with
the food.
Yeah.
It does start. Man, wow. So you are health conscious about...
Yeah.
Look at you, man.
I changed the whole dynamic of my family just by me changing the way I eat.
Because it started with you.
Yeah, my dad got diabetes, my grandma got diabetes, my uncle got diabetes. So it's like I just took a step back and I'm like, man, is that really something that you wanna?
What was the hardest part though? Once you even started vegan, most people can't give up meat. I get clients now will fight me tooth and nail. Really not even just meat, just detachment from food.
It's easy for me, man.
You strong-willed. Most people willing to die for the food they enjoy, bro.
It's real simple for me, man. But the hardest part, I would say, just learning how to eat vegan. Because when people think vegan, they think beans, rice, peas. Nah, I make spaghetti. I make lasagna. I get on the grill, make you a burger. Baked beans, macaroni and cheese, green beans, collard greens. I eat what y'all eat. You just gotta find plant-based alternatives for it.
Exactly.
It's not that you just can't eat certain food. Yeah, they got good plant-based alternatives. Like I travel the world just trying different vegan restaurants. And that's something I don't want to jump ahead of the interview, but that's
no, you good. Okay, yeah. So if you have time to yourself and you go get some vegan food, where you go here? Shout them out.
Definitely Shamika. I definitely like her food. Yeah.
Shout out Shamika.
Shamika got good food. Brooke, I know Brooke.
Brooke Coleman.
Vegan. Yeah, Brooke Coleman. She do vegan food. I haven't had a chance to try it. We had her scheduled for a catering event, but the timing was just bad. So yeah, but man, it's a lot of different restaurants, man.
It is
that I really recommend, man. I'm trying to think it, cause I really cook a lot, man. Cause can't nobody cook, you know, the way you want your food.
The way how you want it.
Yeah, it's just you like your food a certain way, man. I like my food burnt. Like I like, well, you know what I mean.
My wife can be like that. I want it hard. Man. I want it hard. I want it burnt.
I want the pizza. I want burn it. Just burn it.
Nah, me and you would be fighting over that. Ain't no way. All right, Dre. Ain't no way. Ain't dealing with a whole bunch of burnt food. All right. So my next question is: you are a true entrepreneur now, but what was life like before you even became an entrepreneur, though?
Man, it wasn't bad.
Did you work a full-time job?
Yeah. So I've been working since I would say my whole life, pretty much. You know, we come from shoveling snow, picking up trash.
Something.
Man, we go sweep the gas station parking lot, man. If we not asking our parents, can I get $20 to go to the game? Can I get $30 to go to Kings Island? We just didn't come from that era, and not that we just understood the circumstances
of how to get out there and get it
without
break
even
leaves, whatever it took.
It was just without even asking what the situation was. We saw it. If the lights get cut off, we knew what time it was. We knew how to adapt that quick. Like the water get cut off, get the pots. Come on, let's grab a rag. We're gonna wash up with the pots from the stove. Heat get cut off. Open up the oven, turn the oven up. We just knew how to. It was just a different era. We just knew how to adapt. So. Man, I just come from, I started out throwing newspapers with my uncle. I started out throwing newspapers with my uncle. Then I had my son at 16.
You had a kid at 16?
Yeah, I had my son at 16
you had to
in
grow
high
up
school.
fast.
Yeah.
In high school?
Yeah.
You had to grow up real fast.
Yeah. That's what definitely caused the maturity level to spike higher than everybody amongst my age level, my age group. So I had to grow up real fast, not even knowing that I had to grow up fast. I just knew I was one of them type of people. I'm responsible for
just life.
This what I did, I knew what I was doing. I'm responsible for it. So I'm gonna take actions. I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do to handle my business. So from there,
because you had to get, man, at 16, what you, about a junior, almost a senior?
I was a sophomore going into my junior year. He was born the end of my junior year.
What did that even do to your
April
mindset?
14th to be exact.
Your mindset at high school, knowing that you got a baby. That's a huge responsibility. You gotta go to school.
It was tough. Now that I think about it, it molded me to be who I am today. Had I not went through that process, I definitely wouldn't be the man I am today.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
High school with a baby.
Yeah.
You in class thinking about, man, I really gotta get some money. I got somebody that's dependent on me.
And not only that, I'm trying to play sports. I was playing baseball when the time happened. So my coach, he just came to me straight up and was like, man, I understand, man. The teachers, everybody, because they saw I wasn't just somebody that wasn't taking care of my responsibility.
Yeah.
I went and got a job. I went and bought my own first car. Like, I handled my business. Thank God we had the support system we had, just as far as the babysitting. We had aunties, my sisters, so they really jumped in and helped us. So we would have to wake up an hour early, drop the baby off for school, go
so
to
you
school.
Had a team of support.
Yeah, most definitely.
Oh man, can you imagine if you didn't have that?
Yeah, and I think about it every day. So,
But you said you came from good stock.
Yeah. I came from that five. It was five of us. So my sister had a baby at 16. So it was like seeing that. I was like, man, you saw your sister make that mistake. How can you make that mistake? And it was like, and we was all just collectively helping raising my nephew. So So that was, but yeah, it was tough to get back to that. It was definitely tough in high school doing it. Waking up an hour early to drop the baby off, getting the baby dressed, and then I would have to drop because I had enough credits at the time. I would drop my sixth period to leave early to go get the baby, and then come back and pick my baby mama up from school. So that's how I was doing it. Then I would drop them off, and then I would go to work, and I'm waking up 6 o'clock in the morning. Then I go to school from 6 to 1:30. Leave school, pick the baby up, and do all that, and go to work and get off work at 10 o'clock at night. And that was
like all over again.
And that was like my life.
What job was this?
I was working at McDonald's, and then when I wasn't doing McDonald's, I would do newspaper with my uncle still.
You was a hustling individual.
Yeah.
At such a young age.
And because it was like
that molded you.
Yeah, most definitely. And my mama had told me something so real. She had just told me. She said when I first told her, I didn't even know how to explain it to her the first time. When she told, I was like, man, how can I explain this to my mom that I got a baby on the way at 16 years old, still in high school, don't have nothing going, no financial compass to where I can take care of this child. So I said, Mom, I got a baby on the way. And her exact words to me was, it's time to be a man now.
The playtime over. My father told me the same thing. Like it's your time to be a man. You don't really have time to do what you want to do anymore. It ain't about if you don't eat, your son ain't gonna eat. So you need to get out there and get it. But you had that structure of work ethic. So that's a good thing, and it molded you to who you are. Which goes to the next question. What really sparked your interest into being the installator of doing TVs? Because you're great at what you do.
Man, to be honest with you, that was something, man, that I never saw coming. And that was just
installing TVs.
Man, I never seen that coming in my career path. Like not one bit of it. It was just something that I saw interest for. I'm gonna start from the beginning.
Yes, because installing TVs, just because somebody can install their TV, don't mean that you can install somebody else's as a business.
Yeah, that's wholeheartedly true. And so going through that whole process that we just talked about, and then once I turned 18, finished high school, graduated, went and got a job working at it was Delphi at the time. I don't even know if they still open now, but yeah, I was working there. So they had us working 16-hour shifts, man. It was crazy. I'm like, oh, man, this is too much. I'm like, I don't like this. I'm like, this is something that I can't get used to, you know.
It's a lot of hours.
Yeah, I just couldn't get used. I couldn't get used to that lifestyle, man. Waking up, working 16 hours, getting off work, getting 4-5 hours of sleep, not barely eating. I'm like, man, I can't do it all over. Yeah, I'm like, man, this is something I just can't get used to. So left there. So I'm working around doing little temp jobs, you know, just trying to really figure it out, man. Like, you know, I'm 18, 19. I'm just trying to figure it out. Just trying to make any money that come my way. So,
because you got this baby.
Yeah. So, my cousin, he been working at D-Max for about 15 years. So I call him and I'm like, man, is there a way you can get me on up there, man? So I go down there. I get hired on at D-Max, man. So I'm like, cool. That was a cool journey for me, man. So I started working there, and that was, you know, I learned a lot from there.
How long did you work at D-Max?
I was at D-Max for about 5 years.
You did D-Max 5 years?
Yeah, I was at D-Max 5 years. I started out working there, man, and it was just like, it wasn't a bad job at all.
It wasn't 16 hours.
No, not at all. Like that was a stable lifestyle for me, man. I could live a normal life, you know. With not working every weekend, you know, I had days to myself where I could just go relax. I could go to the movies. I could go on a date. I could have fun. Right. You know, that was like a stable lifestyle for me. So What I did with that, I took that, and I'm like, how can I make the most out of this situation? Because this can't be the end goal, to just work here. I just had bigger aspirations for myself. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take this situation and milk it the best way I can. So they have an education program where you can go and get a college degree, and they will finance it for free.
A demon.
Yeah, you pay for it out of pocket, and they reimburse you for it once you pass your classes and complete your courses and stuff.
Really?
Yeah. So what I did, I took advantage of that from day one. So I used that system. I went to Sinclair. I enrolled in the industrial engineering program. So I paid for that out of pocket. They reimbursed me for that. So they told me, okay, if you go to school, we'll be able to move you and put you into an apprenticeship program for engineering. So I go through that. I completed my degree, associates in industrial engineering. It took me about 3.5 years, 4 years, somewhere around that. So I worked my way up in DMAX to, team leader over the logistics department. So once I got to that point, I'm like, okay. So once I finish my degree, I go back to the head engineer and I asked them, I said, hey, okay, I'm finished with my degree.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all told me, that y'all would have an apprenticeship for me. That way I can learn in the engineering field and figure it out, navigate my way through from there. So they said, oh, well, we don't really have the staff right now to help you through that apprenticeship program. I'm like, wow, man. So y'all told me y'all would help me get to this point. And I did everything y'all asked me to do. And now it's like
a letdown.
So I was very disappointed. I'm like, man, like I thought this would be like a life change for me,
It's a letdown.
So
it is what it is, man. It's a letdown.
Yeah, it really was, man. So I just looked at it like, wow. So I'm like, okay, let me figure it out. Like I'm not gonna, I can't just hang my head on something, because somebody else told me something. You gotta go out here and make it happen, regardless of what situation it is.
Right.
If somebody tell you they're gonna give you $2,000 and they don't give it to you, you gotta go make $2,000. You can't just sit around and wait on it, man. I never been a waiter, so I'm like, okay, whatever. So I go back to the apprenticeship coordinator down in Sinclair. So they give me interviews. So I'm going on interviews, and they calling the apprenticeship program director, and they telling him like, man, we just don't see what we can do with it. I'm like, wow. So I went on, man, probably about 8 or 9 interviews. This 10th interview, I'll never forget. This was the turning point in my life. I walked in there and that man told me, he said, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. He said, I'm just gonna be very blunt with you. He said, you don't fit the engineering description. So I looked at him. I said, man, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
So basically, regardless, you have no chance at all.
And I told him, I just took a step back. I just looked at him and I said, thank you, man. I appreciate that. So from that point on, I knew that field wasn't for me. Like, I said I would never go ask for a job again.
So what sparked your interest in installing TVs?
So we getting up to that point. So after that situation, I said, okay, I gotta go make it happen. So I was trying different businesses. I tried a logistics business, failed. I failed a logistics business. I was making money, but the money I was making.
So that was the first.
Yeah, that was the first business, and it was like, just contracting logistics business throughout different companies. Delivering stuff. I would drive to Cincinnati, deliver certain, like I was working for it was a subcontractor. It was a towel company. You'll pick up towel, deliver it to contractors that was working on the jobs.
Okay.
So I was doing that, and I was making money, but it wasn't enough to cover,
all your bills and expenses.
Yeah, a sustainable lifestyle. So I'm like, okay, let's make a change here. I tried Uber, DoorDash, Lyft.
You did all that too?
Yeah. Anything you could think of just to try to.
You said Uber, Lyft, whatever it took,
Yeah,
I'm going to try it.
Anything to where I can build my own schedule, and I won't have to rely on somebody paying me a check. I can just get out there and hustle, and I can make up my own money. I can determine what salary I want to make.
How long did you do that?
For about a year.
The Uber and Lyft?
Yeah.
You did that a year?
Uber, DoorDash, Lyft, with the logistics company for a year.
Okay.
So once I'm like, okay, let me just go get a job to try to figure it out. Okay, just something that I can depend on 100%.
What job was that?
Bill. So I went down. I was doing security down at Care Source. So just front desk security, just checking people in.
You don't look like you would even do that.
Yeah, it was
a job.
It was just something. Yeah, it was just something easy that I knew I could get a check from, and I could take that, and I could still.
Maneuver how you want it.
Yeah, I could still. It wasn't like a lot of hours. It was probably 6 hours out of the day. And, I'm like, okay, I can leave here and I can go focus on something else. So, man, one day, man, I was just looking at the TV, and my mama, she told me, she said, man, we got to get this TV mounted. Like, this is just, it's just in the way. It's on a dresser. I need it mounted. I'm like, man, mama, I don't really know nobody who know how to do that. So she told me, she was like, why don't you do it? I'm like, I mean, I can,
But you be thinking, I don't want to mess it up.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, man.
Was you ever a handyman, though?
Yeah, I grew up with the
tools
Bob the Builder set, with all the.
Okay.
Man, I grew up like that because my dad, when him working at gym, he always had tools sets, working on the cars, changing the oil. So I was always intrigued just by seeing that.
Exactly.
So that was always just a passion of mine, and I didn't know, and I have an industrial engineering degree.
Yeah.
So.
You should be able to mount this TV for your mom.
Yeah, so she looking at me like, you ain't smart enough to figure this out. Like, so I'm like, okay, mom, let me try it out. So so I watched some YouTube videos, just learning the whole process. So it took me about 3 hours to do that first TV.
What size was it?
This was 2000 and had to be 14, 15, something like that. But it was one of the old box TV. It was one of the old first plasmas, man.
3 hours.
Yeah, it took me about 3 hours to do, man. So
did she get frustrated, or she said?
Well, nah,
family.
Yeah,
but still, family. Man, it was taking so long.
But she was more so. I don't know what her agenda was. She just wanted it out the way.
She just wanted the TV.
She didn't really care,
As long as it get up.
Yeah, so she didn't really care. So I'm like, okay, let me try this out. So I tried it out. It took me 3 hours to do it, and I got it up there with no problems.
No problem.
No problems at all. So I'm like, man, this ain't bad, man. Okay, the process was hard, but I'm sure I can figure it out.
And get better.
How to do it a better, faster way.
Yeah.
So my sister friend had called me, and he was like, man, hey, man, I said, man, your sister told me you mounted a TV for your mom, man. You think you can come over here and mount a TV for me? I'm like, yeah. He was like, how much you gonna charge me? I'm like, man, I don't know, $60 or something. He was like, man, I'll give you $50. I'm like, okay, cool. I've never made no money off of it, so.
But I'm gonna take this.
Man, I'll take that, man. Give me a sandwich, put 20, 35 in the tank, man. I'm cool with that.
Let's backtrack. Was this the year of when the flat screens first came out, though?
Nah, no. It was, nah.
This wasn't the first boom of the flat screen?
Nah, I think the first boom of the flat screens was 2008. It may have been 2008, 2009, in that area. So
you was about 2 years behind when the flat screens was already out before you started doing it.
Nah, I was probably 4 or 5,
4 or 5 years,
6 years behind. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I came 6 years after, but it wasn't popular. Like it wasn't,
everybody didn't have them.
Yeah, it wasn't pop. Even to this day, you still won't be able to find a company that do what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Not one from now. You know, it's popular, but like on a corporation perspective, you only can call 1 or 2 companies. Like from here, Cincinnati, Columbus, Indiana. You know, that will really deliver what you're trying to get done.
Exactly.
So once I got the
TV for him.
Yeah, TV for him. That took me about 2.5 hours. I'm like, man, I gotta figure this out. This just taking too long, you know, like. So I'm like, okay.
And this was still within family. This wasn't even
Yeah. This was still family.
Yeah.
You know, I was just, you know, I'm just playing around trying to learn it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So another one of her friends called. So I'll go over there. She like, I got 3 TVs. I said, Jesus Christ.
She got 3 of them.
I said, 3 TVs?
That's pressure. Because you slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get to it. This is impressive. She got 3 TVs and it's taking me the average of 3 hours to do a TV.
Yeah, so you know, like, man, I'm gonna be here all day, man. So I'm like, man, this might be a problem. I'm like, man. So I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. So I'm like, man, let me go get a drill, man. Like, maybe a drill to speed this process up, man.
Hold on, man. You was already installing TVs without a drill?
I'm doing it. I got like a battery drill that I'm using at the time. Like, it's not even nothing powerful enough to
really do what you need to do.
I'm like, man, let me go buy me a drill. So I go to Walmart, get a $20, $30 drill, man. So now I'm like, okay, this ain't bad. Like, so I'm speeding the process up now. I'm learning. I'm buying different tools, seeing what I'm comfortable with.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, cool. So I'll go over there, man. I think I did 3 TVs, man. Probably for like, man, $120, man. You know, everybody happy. She happy. I'm happy. I'm just like, this is cool, you know, like.
So we still within the family.
Right.
Okay. Now let's talk about the very first customer outside of the family, where you are actually an established business and you actually got to go out here now outside of family. Do you remember that first time you installed a TV?
It was in Columbus. It was
all the way in Columbus?
Yeah.
It wasn't here.
I started, my real clientele base was out of Columbus.
Really?
Yeah.
Versus here.
Yep. It was Columbus because I started posting it on social media. First it was on Instagram. I wasn't even on Facebook. So I'm posting it, you know, and I'm just hashtagging and stuff. So people calling me from Columbus, like, hey man, you out TV? I'm like, yeah. So I'm going up there and now I'm figuring out how to charge based on I'm still undercutting myself completely.
Cause now you gotta think about gas.
Yeah. So I'm not even charging for gas. I'm just charging you for the service. And I don't think they not knowing that I'm coming from Dayton, you know, but I'm just driving up there for free and I'm charging you just for the service. But I was so dedicated into learning. I didn't even care. Like, I was just like, I knew I'm gonna lose money in the process of learning. I gotta lose money to learn.
Cause you learning.
Yeah, you're not gonna come out the gate with no business making money.
Exactly.
And thinking you about to prosper and be like, okay,
you got learning curves.
Yeah, it don't happen. I was watching not to get off track, but I was watching Jeff Bezos interview back in the day. He was like, man, we lost $20 million for 20 years at Amazon before we started making money. Mm-hmm. We just took the profits and we put it back in the business for 20. Can you imagine losing 20 years?
And you gotta be dedicated
that's
and
crazy,
be like, man, we gonna make this work.
Yeah, like that's crazy.
That's all I
man.
want. Yeah, that's a lot of losses. But look at them now, though.
And he said, and it was hard for him to get funding because nobody believed in it. It was like, man, you crazy, man. You losing money like crazy, man. We not putting up no money for that, man. Like, so you gotta lose money first in the process. And a lot of people, I don't think they understand that, man. Like, you gonna lose money. You gonna be broke. You gonna be tired. You gonna be stressed out.
It was
It's just
not
part of the
overnight.
game. That's what the grades. That's what he grades.
Hey man, I don't die, man. I done accepted it. I love it though.
Man, I feel still kind of young.
You,
man.
hey, look, I'm
Man,
wisdom.
to go get some of that dye, man.
Man, I ain't dying nothing. Hold on, Dre. So let me stay on course with you. All right, so you going to Columbus and you starting to get a name for yourself.
Yeah.
You starting to build up. Now, my next question: you are established. What has been like the hardest part of what you do? You ever had somebody call you and say something broke?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. That's not nothing uncommon, you know. You'll get even like if I have, cause I started out with a 3-man team, you know. I have a part-time electrician, me, 2 other guys, and you know, I have them do work, you know. And sometimes I trust them, you know, to do a certain job, and things can go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you're responsible for it, so you pay for it.
Name on that.
You know, and we didn't have, me personally, I didn't have TVs moving. We moving TVs, and you might bump some or get some. You break it, you gotta pay for it. It is what it is. It's part of business. It's no business where everything is gonna be perfect.
Exactly.
I'll be a liar if I said everything about me was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
We make mistakes, you know, and we definitely pay for our mistakes. So,
y'all hear that? He real honest.
Yeah.
Those are the shortcomings that come with any business.
Yeah. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's the only way you can learn, you know. That's the only way I will do something and I'll be like, okay, that'll never happen again. Like it just, you know, because I didn't learn from it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how a lot of my experiences came, just making mistakes and learning. That's the only way I can get better and be who I am today. And I'm still learning this point.
You never stop learning. Damn, you made me lose my train of thought. Hardest part though, you still dealing with people. You ever get somebody that's just a complainer?
Yeah, I got. Yeah, you get people like that. Some people just.
It don't matter. You put the TV up. I don't like it there. Move it over here.
Yeah.
I don't like it there either. Move it over here.
I had a lady, man, one time. We put a TV up and she said, I measured perfectly where she wanted it at. And she said, I don't like it. She probably sit down 15, 20 minutes just looking at it and was like, I don't like it. Let's take it down. Let's move it. Okay. Yes, ma'am. I don't like it there either. Let's take it down. And we gonna make adjustments based on what you like because the customer is always right. You can't, as a business and as a brand and a company, you can't get frustrated if the customer is not completely happy or completely satisfied. You have to have patience. You have to satisfy the customer. That's a part of business. If you don't like it, don't do business.
Exactly.
Like it is what it is.
So let's backtrack on that. Everybody don't have that, Dre. I told you, I've been through some stuff. I put you through the ringer before you even came over here.
Yeah, and I was patient with you because I understand. And not to get off track, but this another reason why. This how I got into the lifting TVs by myself. Cause I used to have a 2-man crew, but when I saw that, cause 85% of my clientele, my customer base is women. So me as a man, I understand women are just uncomfortable with people that they don't know in their house. Mm-hmm. It's just an uncomfortable feel. I feel like that. Even I have people come and clean a carpet or do certain jobs. I just watch them, like, you know, I just keep an eye on them. It's not like I'm just afraid or nothing.
Yeah.
You just keep an eye on them. You just never know what nobody's thinking.
I have given so many people the benefit of doubt when they come over here. Even when you said the carpet people, and I try to be the point where I try to support everybody. Man, I had people come over here, bro, and try to sell me drugs. And you supposed to be cleaning my carpet. Like, bro, what are you doing? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's like, man, I can't use this guy. They might think I'm their age or whatever. I've been thinking like, I can't use this person.
So, but yeah, so back to that. So I understood. So I'm like, okay, you know what we gonna do? Because I gotta make people feel comfortable. Because I done had, it was a guy that was working with me in the beginning. And I don't know if this lady remember this, but we was doing a job for her. And he had told the lady, he said, man, I like that bed. I wish I could show lay in that bed.
At the customer house.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was my breaking point. I just looked. I couldn't even say nothing because it was like,
Why would you even think to say that?
I was shocked.
Why would you think to even say that?
I was shocked. I said, wow.
Unprofessional.
So that was the last day he could work with me. You know, and I tried different people working with me. You know,
but your name on that.
Exactly. So I'm like,
your name on that. How you go in the customer house talking about, man, I wish I could lay in that bed.
So I'm like, man, you know what? We just gonna cut all this. I'm just gonna have to deal with it and figure it out how to do it by myself because everybody has to feel. I can't put you in an uncomfortable state. Women is already uncomfortable around men to start with.
Period. Home.
And you inside of my house. This is my comfort zone. Nothing outside of this is uncomfortable. This is where I lay my head at, and that's everybody. So me coming into your environment, I gotta 100% make you feel comfortable with me. You have to trust me. I'm gonna come in with shoe covers on. If you want me to wear a mask, I'm gonna wear a mask. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. I'm gonna be respectable. I'm not gonna ask you for no water. I'm gonna clean up after my mess. We're gonna make sure don't no dust get nowhere, wherever. We just gonna make sure it's 100% comfortable and professional for you. That's just my job as a businessman and as a man. And like you was telling me off camera, you had a lady that you trained with, and she was like, man, you know, one thing about him, he never tried to hit on me. You know, while he did his work and he left.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta have that integrity. It's a lot, man. A lot of people, they be like, man, you work with a lot of women, man. I don't understand how. You gotta have self-control, and that's one of my biggest assets. Is the self-control.
It only takes that one person, and that one person can destroy everything that you tried to build, just because you wasn't thinking logical.
Yeah.
And no, but man, that's one thing that I love about you. That man, you on your game, and you like, man, just Google me, and then you was on time. You like where you wanted at, man. I think you probably had the TV up probably within like 15 minutes, and then we started chopping it up.
It's about right.
Yeah.
But even with that, just being precise about time, man. If I am late, because I mean things do happen, and I schedule within an hour. Sometimes, man, it's unreal the way my schedule look, man. I probably have a 20 TV day, man, and I'm. Everybody 30 minutes. Like I got a 30-minute gap to finish this job to get to your house and within 45-minute span. So things happen, but I'm gonna call and let you know that I'm running
That's
late.
the level of being professional.
And you know
most people won't do that.
Yeah.
To say, hey, I'm running behind, I got in traffic. They just show up late and you're like, man, you could have just called. I could have ran and got your money, anything else.
Exactly.
But if you don't communicate, man, I can't look. Your time is not more valuable than mine.
Right.
So I never like that about people. Like, damn, like, man, open communication is everything.
Yeah.
But, man, the sky is the limit for you, bro. And you gonna hit every mark that you set for yourself. Just for the simple fact, you professional. I already know it. So, don't forget about the little people.
man, you know that's what made me, man. Before I'm gonna tell you a quick story. My first contract, my first big contract that I ever got was the Love's Truck Stop in Columbus. Before you get to Columbus, the Love's Truck Stop, I did that. I did the TVs in there and the Wendy's that's attached to it.
I know that truck stop.
And they called me direct. The facility coordinator called me direct and said, hey man, how you doing, man? My name is such and such, man. We got some TV. We saw your work on Facebook. And we just wanted to reach out to you, man. Wanted to know, would you be willing to accept this contract? Man, that was my first contract ever, man. I've never really spent real money on advertisement. All my advertisement and business come through word of mouth, man. So
isn't that the best advertisement?
Yeah.
With happy customers,
yeah,
word of mouth.
From residential customers. That's what gets me the big contracts, the ice cream shops, the Victor Taco shops, the poker hall, the Bibby Bop, the truck stops, the Wendy's. That's where I get my contracts from, the residential people. So man, without them, I'm nothing, man. I'm nothing. I cater more to my residential people than I would a contract. Yeah, I'm gonna take a whole day for the contract. But if a residential a customer call me, man, we gonna make some adjustments and we gonna take care of them. And these people, these are
that's
people,
your core base.
Yeah, and
that's your foundation.
And these is and I'm not. I don't know, and I'm not saying businesses should operate like this, but I'm a person. You can call me direct and, hey, Dre, I got a situation. I might be $30 short. Can I pay you next week?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm okay with that.
Because you understanding of the circumstances of people. Man, listen, that's why I said you gonna hit every mark that you want, and you gonna be very successful because you take time, you're professional, and you got a heart of gold. And when you came down here, like I said before, it was all about, man, let me see how he do before I can even talk to him versus being sidetracked. But Dre, you doing your thing, man. I'm proud of you. And one thing about being an entrepreneur, man, it's not as easy as people think. And like you said from the very beginning, it was trial and error, and you learn from the mistakes. And man, I'm proud of you. I really am, man. And I see the sky's the limit for you. And the reason I'm saying that, it ain't a lot of people who can do what you do in installing TVs, and you are great at that.
Man, I appreciate it, man. Man, just really just learning, man. And to this day, man, I still learn and just educate myself, man. I will go home when I get off work and knowing I'm supposed to shut down and just deal with my personal life. Mm-hmm. Man, I'm just still learning, man. It's some nights I just can't sleep. Like, I just be that eager, man. Like, man, it's 2:00 in the morning, and man, if they up, man, I'll knock this out right now, man. If they want me to come right now,
I'm like that. My wife said I have no cutoff because I care about people and I care about my craft.
Yeah, man.
It's hard to cut that off because y'all might have somebody text me, T, what you think about this plate? And my wife would be looking like, are you still working? And I'd be like, babe, give me 1 minute, I got you.
T, man, I'm going out of town. We driving a work truck to the airport. Cause soon as we land, I'm dropping y'all off, and we going to work. This how serious I take this. Like, I can't help it. Like, I can't help it.
You get what you put into it, though. It ain't. Listen, I know you gotta get back to work, Dre. I'm proud of you, and thank you for coming down here to tell your story. Once again, man, for real, bro. Because I put you through it. I did. I called like, hey, man, do you know what you doing?
Yeah, T.
I did. I put you through it.
I'm like, man, T. I'm like, man, do you know anybody that know me, man? Please.
But the thing about it was, it took for you to leave, for me to post it. Like, hey, y'all, I just met Dre Love. And that's when everybody came out the woodwork to tell me about you. And I said, you know what, I'm going to bring you back.
Yeah.
Dre, give everybody your future projects and your outro to everybody that helped you get to where you are, bro. And try not to forget nobody, because people be like, oh, man, he's got it now.
Man, it's hard, man. Everybody, man, I feel like everybody support me, man. Like, I don't think it's not one person that don't support me, man. So I appreciate everybody, man. It's I can't even name everybody, man. Dayton, Cincinnati, Columbus, Indiana, Middletown, Florida, man. People fly me out and I do projects out of state, man.
That's dope.
Contracts, man, to everybody, man. I really appreciate everybody, man. And I wish Man, I wish I can do more, man. I just wish I can do more, man. Like,
you might have to just find some people that enjoy doing what you do.
Yeah.
Not somebody that just want that paycheck.
Yeah.
You gotta find, you gotta grow with like-minded people. Not somebody that's just, hey man, I want a job. But they don't have passion behind what you do. Like you just said, the guy who made the inappropriate comment, like, oh, this is his last day.
Yeah, you know, so, but yeah, man, the feeling just surreal, man. When I see everybody that just support me, man, day in and day out, man, I still can't believe it. It's people that dealt with me 5 years, 6 years that still deal with me to this day. Like, man,
I'm so,
like,
look, I'm so, they gonna see your story, they gonna be at you. That's why I said, don't forget about the little people. I done had a lot of people come down here and they be like, man, I did that interview with you, man, it changed my life.
Yeah.
So people buy into trust. You down here today because you trust me with your words.
Yeah.
So they buy into trust, they know your story. Now, not only do they get to see what your work look like, now they know who you are.
Yeah.
So once again, don't forget about the little people.
This what built me, man. Like, man, I love it to this day, man. I really do, man. I still,
You wake up doing what you love.
man.
Dre love.
Man, if I take a week off, man, I'm bored, man.
Are you?
Yeah, man. Like when I had, this was last November, I had broke my foot, and I was out for like 3 weeks, man. Oh man, I couldn't, like, I just couldn't do nothing, man. I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, I'm trying to walk people. I'm FaceTiming people, trying to walk them through. Like,
How old is your son?
12.
He can't help you yet.
No, not yet.
Yeah, we gonna get you some like-minded people, man.
Yeah.
We are. We gonna get, cause you're only as good as your team.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
You're only as good as your team, bro. I'm gonna get you back down here, man. Maybe I have to get you down here with a like-minded person, and we can put something together.
Yeah,
But like I said, I'm proud of you.
I appreciate it, man.
It ain't easy being an entrepreneur, but I'm definitely proud of you.
No, man, I appreciate you for having me, man. This is my first interview ever, man.
It's gonna be more to come.
I was thinking about it. I'm like, man, I don't know how I'm gonna react. I don't know, but you know, it's natural, man.
It is.
It's natural.
Cause we chopped a lot of game off screen, and I'm like, this ain't nothing, bro. I'm a one-hitter quitter.
Yeah.
Hey, we out.
Man,
Appreciate you, Dre.
I appreciate you, man.
My guy. I get with y'all soon. Always making it happen. Dre love DanDe'Jour fit all day.